Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in northeast Nebraska, where a hospital recovering following a fire to its HVAC system Thursday morning. Andrew Pfeiffer has more from Norfolk.
Well, things have absolutely cooled down as compared to this morning, where the Norfolk Fire Division showed up here at Faith Regional and saw heavy flames and smoke. Now, they called partners from all around the Norfolk area. They were able to control the fire in about 10 minutes, but it left a hefty cost.
Early Thursday morning, the Norfolk Fire Department responded to a fire on the bed tower of Faith Regional Hospital in Norfolk.
Around 9:30, our crews were called to a fire on the rooftop of the bed tower. We responded and immediately deployed some thermal drones and our aerial truck.
According to the hospital, they experienced a fire in the HVAC system on the roof of the tower. Crews arrived on scene immediately.
We believe that we have the fire fairly well controlled. It's just going to be very labor intensive as far as the overhaul process.
All hospital staff and patients were escorted to the bottom floors of the building. Footage obtained showed two individuals on top of the tower while the fire was still happening.
There is a little smoke and we smelled a lot of smoke, but really that's all we've seen.
One witness reported that a loved one was getting prepped for surgery before the fire started. They were then quickly evacuated.
She was getting prepped, ready to go, and then they said that there was a fire and we couldn't have surgery. So,
according to Norfolk Fire Chief Tim Rogge, the investigation is now underway after the fire was completely extinguished.
We've had solid help from local law enforcement and Faith Regional personnel. And at this point in time, no injuries of any sort have been reported.
All entrances to the hospital were briefly closed except for the emergency room. Those rooms have since been reopened. According to Faith Regional, no one had been treated for injuries related to the fire. 27th West Norfolk Avenue was closed as crews worked to finish the investigation. Officials with the Madison County Sheriff's Office advised to avoid the area.
We just need to try to keep it safe as far as traffic coming and going along this area if we can.
It took over 60 firefighters and 19 rigs just to get the fire under control. It took an additional 2 hours for the overhaul. Damage is estimated at $200,000. Reporting in Norfolk, Andrew Pfeiffer, News Channel Nebraska.
Meanwhile, firefighters spent Thursday night at the scene of a structure fire on the southwest edge of Carney. The first call came in around 5:25 Thursday afternoon at a business address for Ed Broadfoot and Sons Sand and Gravel. Authorities at the scene said the fire, though, was at a residence on the property. The property was on the south side of the interstate, only accessible by a dead-end overpass. So fire trucks had to fill with water at a hydrant on the north side and drive over the overpass on the south side to use it. Firefighters were still spraying water on the structure more than 2 hours after the initial call. No word yet on any possible injuries or a cause. Another fire affected a residence in Fairbury early Thursday morning. The home and garage at 4th and 8th Street withstood serious damage. No injuries were reported, though. Fire personnel from 2 different departments sent to the scene before sunrise Thursday found the garage completely on fire and flames spreading into the house. First responders say they were able to restrict the blaze to 2 rooms and had the fire controlled after about a half hour. All of the residents had already gotten out of the home by the time help arrived. As of Thursday afternoon, the cause of the fire listed as undetermined and still actively under investigation. To Gage County, where their Board of Supervisors has rejected the final contract offer of the Fraternal Order of Police Local, which represents sheriff's deputies, sergeants, and corrections officers. The board's vote 5-0 against the offer after a closed session that took an hour and 15 minutes.
The toughest thing I'm looking at is we run very lean as a county. Law enforcement, corrections, they've seen near 20% increase last year. In this agreement, they're asking for another 20%. Most people aren't seeing 20% increases in their wages. The public are the ones paying our bills. How do we justify this to the public, seeing huge increases year after year after year how do we justify this to our other departments in the courthouse, where we obviously can't do that either.
The County Supervisor Gary Lytle said he felt the county's negotiations committee and officers were close to an agreement, but ultimately couldn't finalize a new contract. The primary issue so far have been compensation and paid time off. The supervisors will vote on the county's final contract offer at their January 8th meeting. The local Fraternal Order of Police contract would cover about 30 officers. First-time filings for unemployment held steady last week, indicating layoff activity is still low. That's according to a report from the U.S. Department of Labor released Thursday. There were an estimated 219,000 initial jobless claims filed during the week ending December 21st. That was down 1,000 from the week before. However, the number of people getting ongoing jobless benefits hit a 3-year high, a signal that it might be harder for job seekers to get work. That's certainly the case in Nebraska, which saw continuing claims go up again by 11% over the previous week. First-time claims in Nebraska, though, were down about 10% after multiple weeks in a row of increases. A Valentine's Day more than a month away, but the town of Valentine already preparing to share the love. Casey Wannenberg takes a closer look at a tradition that city leaders hope will get more attention from across the state.
Even with Christmas just wrapped up, the city of Valentine has been preparing for a different holiday for months.
In the past, we've had things as simple as a wedding chapel that people get married in on Valentine's Day in Valentine, Nebraska.
Jenny Moore is the executive director of the Valentine Chamber of Commerce.
This one is in 1991.
This year, she's looking for more contestants in a decades-long competition.
Everybody loves to get a Valentine on Valentine's Day. These are entries from past years.
The chamber hosts a contest to find the town's official Valentine's Day card. People from all over the state can submit their designs.
Entries have come in from professional artists, from amateur artists, and we even have students that have entered. It's a lot of fun going through everybody's artwork.
To qualify, your Valentine design must reach the chamber by December 31st. Only use black ink.
The printer will add red accents to it, but if they come in 8 by 10 size, that's perfect. It needs to be easily reproduced.
Once the winning design is announced, the cards are sold in local stores.
Then we have 95
and all over the world.
And people can send them back through Valentine, through Cupid's mailbox, and we put a special stamp on them.
Because even in this digital age, nothing says "be mine" like a handwritten Valentine.
Anybody can send an email or a text message, and it just has become so commonplace that a handwritten note is something special, something you can hold on to.
If you would like to enter the competition or buy a Valentine, just contact the Valentine Chamber of Commerce. You can find that information under this story at newschannelnebraska.com. Reporting in Valentine, Casey Wannenberg, News Channel Nebraska.
Meanwhile, here's a Christmas present for moms, dads, and Mary Lanning Healthcare. The hospital in Hastings eclipsed 1,000 babies born this year. That includes 3 sets of twins born this week alone. The hospital says they'll be committed to taking good care of mothers and babies with their supportive staff and care, and are looking forward to kicking off 2025 by honoring the first baby born at Mary Lanning with a gift. And finally, in the age of streaming and video games, you might think physical trading cards as a hobby are a thing of the past. But as Michael Shively shows us, the sports card scene is alive and well in central Nebraska.
I'd be kind of interested in this one.
Mike Johnson has been buying, selling, trading, and collecting sports cards since 1985.
I can look at a comp on that.
Now his 40-year hobby is a formal business.
The collection started to kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger, and over the last year or so, we kind of been putting more thought into maybe just doing it again for fun. Was it grade? A 9?
Hot Corner Cards and Collectibles opened this month in Carney across from Hy-Vee. But it isn't Johnson's first foray into the field. He started a similar shop called The Gridiron while going to college.
It was fun, but it was just not the right time to me to do that, because at that time, you know, I had to make a living. It was tough to do that at that age.
Now, his main enterprise, Johnson Landscape, affords him the chance to revive his sports card business, and it happens to coincide with the rebirth of the industry as a whole.
The number one thing that re-energized the sport card industry is COVID. Everybody was at home, stuck, not being able to go anywhere, couldn't travel anywhere, and everybody started digging through their old collections. The market all of a sudden just got crazy hot for even the old stuff, especially the Jordan stuff. This guy? Yep.
Decades after selling the gridiron, Johnson is back to showing customers high-profile cards, both older.
56 mantle. It's in really good condition.
And newer.
But a few of them escaped, and they are in circulation, and I've got 2 of them.
A familiar passion he hopes will continue to thrive in a reinvigorated market.
Deal.
In Carney, Michael Shively,
Thanks.
News Channel, Nebraska.
That works. It's a good card.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. This is News Channel Nebraska.